Welcome back. This is James Donnelly, founder of TechMasterServices.com. This is video 2 in the PM Lab video course. The course where you learn how to build and create your personal mobile lab, your personal money lab. Now, if you haven't watched video 1, you're going to want to watch that one first. This video will make way more sense if you've seen the first video already. Now, it's also going to help if you've already downloaded the build document and the PowerShell scripts I talk about in this video. You can get them for free with the download button on this page. Now, if you're watching this video somewhere other than TechMasterServices.com, obviously you're going to have to head over there to get the videos and the downloads I'm talking about, right? And that includes the PowerShell scripts that help you build your lab. Now, in this video, you're going to see how to prepare your host computer. That's a computer that will be running the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit and hosting your virtual machines. Now, this course does assume that you are running everything on one machine, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? You could install the toolkit on one machine and use that to build your lab, and then use another machine to host your lab. You'll see how to do it all in this course. Now, this video, video number 2, it shows you how to confirm that your host operating system can actually host virtual machines. Shows you how to enable PowerShell scripts to run on your machines, or you can run those PowerShell scripts that you downloaded. Shows you how to enable Hyper-V, extract the PM Lab files, download all the software that you need. And yes, all the software I'm talking about that you download, it's all free from Microsoft. We work with the evaluation versions of the operating systems. At least that's what the video shows you how to do. You can run whatever versions you want, and you'll see how to add other versions too. This course also shows you, or this video also shows you how to create your virtual machines, right? Now your host computer, that's the one that's really going to be hosting the virtual machines for your labs. If that computer is running Windows Server 2012, no worries. It can host virtual machines, right? So no worries on that one. But if it's running Windows 8 or Windows 10, you need the Pro or the Enterprise version of either Windows 8 or Windows 10 to host your virtual machines. So if you open up Control Panel and go into the System Applet in Control Panel, you'll be able to see what version of Windows you're running, and hey, that'll tell you whether you can run your lab on this machine or not. By default, your machine will not allow any PowerShell scripts to run. So in order to override that, you have to open PowerShell as an administrator, and then type in the command that I give you in the document. It's simply set-execution policy space unrestricted space dash force. And that just allows any PowerShell script to run. So in order to enable Hyper-V on your workstation or your server, just open up PowerShell again as an administrator, and then run the command that I give you in the document. Make sure you run the right version of the command, because it is specific to either Windows Server 2012 or Windows 8 or Windows 10. But just run the command and then reboot your machine. Yes, you need to reboot the machine. So the first thing you have to do is extract all the files by just running the PM Lab exe. It unzips everything to the root of the C drive. That's really where you want to leave it, because that's where all the other scripts are assuming stuff is, so you don't have to edit anything else if you just take the defaults. Then you can go look at the PM Lab folder into the source directory. If you open up application, you can see one of the pre-configured applications there. If you open up the control folder, you see all the XML documents, you see the folders for each one of the servers you're going to create, and the task sequence XMLs for each one of those servers. You can open up the INI files under control settings. Those INI files, there's one for each server. They've got the passwords, they've got the IP addresses, they've got the server names. All that's pre-configured for you in that PM Lab executable that you can download. Also in the source directory are just folders for the operating system files. We'll populate those folders in a minute. The scripts directory will also be populated in a minute. The 2 PowerShell scripts are what you use to deploy the deployment source directory within the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. You'll be running the first script next, and then after that you'll be running the second PowerShell script, and what that does is just create all your virtual machines within Hyper-V, and it configures them all for you as well. So to install the ADK, just go to where you downloaded the files and run ADK setup. You can leave the default path alone and just install it right to your C drive. You could decide where you want to install it. You also have the option of just downloading everything and installing it later, which you can see I did there in the background, but I'll just show you the regular install for now. So it's a wizard. You hit next, keep moving on. You can accept the license agreement, decide which features you want. There's really only two of them that you need, which is the second two, the deployment tools and the pre-installation environment. I like to choose a couple of other ones that, hey, I might want to play with later. Just keep going through the wizard. It does take a few minutes to install. Once it's done, you just close it. And you could also install the MDT next, which again is just an MSI file. It's a big wizard you run through. This one just takes a couple of minutes to run through. Take the default location for the MDT because the scripts that I'm using assume MDT is installed in the default locations. Now, if you wanted to change that, I suppose you could, but then you have to edit the scripts to match. So in order to create the deployment share within the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, you can do all that manually, or you can simply launch PowerShell as an administrator, change to the PM Lab source directory where I've got the script to create the PM Lab deployment share, and just run that script, and it'll do everything for you. Getting your operating system files into your deployment share is really simple. Just go to the directory that you downloaded the operating system ISO file. You got there by just following the link in the document. So you right-click the ISO, click Mount. That's going to extract all the files, make kind of a virtual DVD for you. Just copy all the files out of that directory, paste them into the directory for the deployment share, which is on your C drive, PM Lab, DS for deployment share, operating systems. This case, grab Win8, paste them in there. That's all it is. So you're pasting the extracted files, not the ISO itself. All right, I've already done this for Server 2012, just confirming all the files are there. Do the same thing for Windows 10. All the files are there. Operating systems are ready to go. So now let's confirm that the deployment share is ready to go. So we open up the deployment workbench and take a look at the applications. You should see 3 of them in there. And you can go to the operating systems folder. You should see the Windows 10, Windows 8, and 4 of them for Windows Server 2012. All 4 are on the DVD in the ISO file. You should see 4 task sequences, 1 for each machine. Then you can open up the task sequence tab on each one of them, take a look, make sure they're populated. The one for the domain controllers got tasks for installing the operating system, setting up Active Directory, installing DNS, creating a couple of OUs in there for you as well. The Windows 10 task sequence, of course, includes installing the operating system, but it also has it joining the domain that you created on the domain controller as well. And finally, we're going to update the media to create the ISO file. So you just go to the media folder, right-click on media, and select update media content. And this just is actually taking everything in that deployment share and creating one big ISO file. And that's the ISO file we're going to use on our VMs to boot those VMs off of and build all the servers and workstations in the lab. Now, this takes a few minutes to actually run. I kind of cut out a big chunk of it there in the video. But once it's created, then you can go into your PM Lab folder under ISO, and you can see that big ISO file. It's about 11.5 gigs. So to create all the virtual machines that will become our lab, you just use a PowerShell script that came with the PM Lab download. So just launch PowerShell as an administrator, and then change directories to the PM Labs source directory. And what you're going to do is just launch the create PM Lab virtual machines PowerShell script. Of course, what that script is doing is just using Hyper-V to create all the VMs within Hyper-V for you. It's nothing you can't do manually, but hey, use the script. It's real easy. And then we're just going to open up Hyper-V to confirm that the 4 machines are actually there. And yes, they are. So now you've seen how to prepare your computers to run the PM Lab, right? You've seen what software to install, where to get it. You've seen how easy it is to install it. And if you've downloaded the PM Lab files, you've got the PowerShell scripts that do a lot of the work for you, including setting up your deployment share and creating your virtual machines. Later on in this course, you're going to see how to customize everything, right? How to add operating systems, how to add servers, workstations, applications, right? From all the videos in this course, you'll be able to build your own lab from scratch, even without my scripts, right? Now, the next video, you'll see how easy it is to deploy your servers in your lab, right? So go ahead and watch it now. If you haven't downloaded everything, go ahead and download them now, right? So you can watch the videos later whenever it suits you. And you also get the other goodies as well. And do please give me some feedback on this video. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. If you got suggestions to make it better, hey, I'm always open to learning how to do things better. So please go ahead and give me the feedback. And of course, again, if you're watching this video somewhere other than techmasterservices.com, you need to head over there to get the downloads I'm talking about. So right now, on to the next video. We're going to see how to deploy your servers really with just a few mouse clicks. It is that easy. Watch video now.